A smart thermostat costs between $100 and $300 depending on the model. The promise on the box says 15% savings on heating and cooling. But the actual return depends on factors most people never think about. According to the Energy Star certification report from 2024, real-world savings range from 8 to 23%, and the difference comes down to your house, your habits, and your climate zone. Let's start with the numbers Energy Star actually publishes. To get the certification, a smart thermostat must show an average 8% reduction in heating energy and 10% in cooling, measured across hundreds of real homes. That is the floor, not the ceiling. The Nest Learning Thermostat, 3rd generation, claimed up to 12% on heating in their 2023 white paper, with similar ranges for cooling. Now divide that by your annual heating and cooling bill. If you spend $2,000 a year on HVAC energy, an 8% saving puts $160 back in your pocket. A $250 Nest pays itself back in roughly 19 months at that rate. Sounds good. But if your bill is $600 a year because you live in a mild climate, the same percentage only saves $48. Here's the catch. Climate zone changes the math more than any other factor. The Department of Energy's 2025 climate zone study found homeowners in zones 5 through 7, the colder northern states, saw the biggest absolute savings. Florida and Southern California users often reported under $50 in annual savings because cooling-only homes have less waste to recover. Installation cost matters too. If you have a C-wire already in your wall, install is 30 minutes and free. If you don't, you're either running new wire, paying an electrician $100 to $200, or buying a power adapter kit. Roughly 40% of older American homes lack a C-wire according to a 2024 HVAC industry survey. That changes the payback timeline by a year or more. The next thing nobody talks about. Smart thermostats only save money if you actually use the smart features. A Nest sitting on a fixed 72-degree schedule saves no more than a manual programmable thermostat from 10 years ago. The savings come from learning behavior, geofencing when you leave the house, and automated setbacks at night. Disable those and you bought an expensive light bulb for your wall. Geofencing is the killer feature in my own setup. When the last phone leaves the house, the thermostat shifts to an away set point within 10 minutes. According to Ecobee's 2023 usage data, geofencing alone delivered an additional 6 to 8% savings on top of base learning algorithms. That is roughly the difference between a payback in 18 months and a payback in 12. Compatibility is another rabbit hole. The Honeywell T9 supports remote sensors out of the box, the Ecobee Premium ships with one in the package, and the Nest Learning 3rd generation does not include any. Single room temperature is a lie when your bedroom is 10 degrees colder than your hallway. If you live in a multi-story house, factor sensor cost into the math, around $40 each for Ecobee or Honeywell. Let's talk about heat pumps because the smart thermostat market changed completely with their rise. Heat pumps benefit massively from gradual temperature changes, not aggressive setbacks. A bad smart thermostat strategy on a heat pump can actually cost you money by triggering electric resistance backup heat. The Mitsubishi Qmo Cloud and Ecobee with heat pump optimization handle this. Most generic smart thermostats do not. Utility rebates change the equation too. Pacific Gas and Electric, Con Edison, Xcel Energy, and most other major utilities offer $50 to $150 rebates on Energy Star certified smart thermostats. Some states stack their own incentives. New York's NYSERDA program adds another $75 for qualifying installs. Always check your utility website before paying full price. That alone can cut your payback by a third. Now let's get specific about brands. The Nest Learning 3rd generation runs $249 retail. It learns your schedule automatically over a week or two. The biggest complaint in J.D. Power's 2024 Smart Home Survey was the limited support for multi-stage HVAC systems and the lack of remote sensors. Beautiful product, but you pay an Apple tier premium for the design. The Ecobee Premium runs $249 but includes a remote sensor and built-in Alexa. Multi-zone households tend to prefer it because of how the sensors balance temperature across rooms. The downside, the screen is smaller and the interface is busier. The Ecobee Plus is $189 and skips the voice assistant if you don't care about that. Honeywell sits in the middle with the T9 and T10 lines. The T9 is $189, supports up to 20 remote sensors, and integrates well with most ecosystems. Honeywell has the longest install base in HVAC contractors, which means easier service if something fails. Less flashy, but solid. Their stat learning is weaker than Nest, so if you don't want to schedule manually, this is not the best pick. Cites is the niche pick for electric baseboard or radiant heating. Most smart thermostats can't drive the high voltage circuits these systems need. Cites was built for it. If you live in Quebec, Vermont, or any older home with electric baseboards, this is one of the few options. Around $150 per zone, and yes, you usually need one per room. But the ROI looks different when you count the indirect savings. Smart thermostats with leak detection alerts have caught HVAC failures before they became $1,000 repairs. Mine sent me a low compressor refrigerant warning 2 weeks before the system would have died on a hot weekend. That diagnostic alone saved me a service call premium and a hotel stay. Energy reports are another underrated benefit. Both Nest and Ecobee send monthly emails breaking down your usage versus similar homes in your area. According to behavioral economics research from Opower published in 2023, simply seeing a comparison chart drove an additional 2 to 4% reduction in usage independent of any thermostat feature. People are competitive about energy bills when you show them. The privacy question deserves a paragraph. These thermostats know when you're home, when you sleep, and how you set temperatures down to the half degree. Google owns Nest. Amazon partners with most others. Read the data sharing policy before installing. Both companies aggregate data for utility partnerships, and while it is anonymized, your patterns are surprisingly identifiable. Some users prefer offline alternatives like the Stel Pro Maestro for this reason. If you want offline, look at Home Assistant compatible thermostats. The Sinopy TH1123ZBG2 runs Zigbee, no cloud required, and pairs with a HubU control. Around $160. You lose remote app convenience without a hub like Home Assistant or Hubitat, but your data stays local. For the privacy conscious, this is the path. Let's run a real ROI scenario for a typical American home. House size, 2,000 square feet. Annual heating and cooling cost, $2,400. Cold zone climate. Smart thermostat cost, $250. Installation, free with existing C-wire. Utility rebate, $75. Net cost, $175. Annual savings at 15%, $360. Payback period, just under 6 months. Now flip it. Same setup but a mild climate home. Annual HVAC cost $600. Same hardware investment of $175 net. Annual savings closer to $54 at 9%. Payback period, 3 years and 3 months. Still positive return, but if the device only lasts 7 to 10 years, you only get a few good years of net benefit. Worth it for the convenience, less so for pure economics. Speaking of lifespan, this is the metric the marketing skips. According to a 2024 Consumer Reports survey, smart thermostats have an average reliability lifespan of 7 to 9 years before either the screen, the connectivity module, or the firmware support gets dropped by the manufacturer. A traditional programmable thermostat lasts 15 to 20. Factor that into your math. Maintenance and updates can backfire. Nest dropped support for the works with Nest API in 2019, locking out third-party integrations. Ecobee retired older models from their app in 2023. If you're someone who keeps appliances for decades, smart products are a different relationship. You don't own them, you license them, and the company can change the deal. What about renters? Most landlords will let you install a smart thermostat as long as you keep the original and reinstall it when you leave. Just don't damage the wall. Take photos before you start, put them in a labeled bag, and the swap is 15 minutes. If you live somewhere 2+ years and your bills are decent, the math is still positive even with the inconvenience. Here's my honest take. If you have an HVAC bill over $1,500 a year and a C-wire already in place, buy one. The payback is fast and the convenience is real. If you have a low bill or a complex multi-stage system, do more research. And whatever you pick, set up the schedule and geofencing immediately. The default factory settings save almost nothing. One last thing. Don't fall for the hyper-premium models with weather forecast integration unless you live in a climate that swings hard. The basic schedule and learning features deliver 90% of the savings. The fancy stuff is mostly nice to have. Save the extra cash for a smart vent or two if you have hot and cold rooms. Subscribe to Espacio Intelligent and hit the bell. Next week's setup goes deeper into smart vents and zone control, the cheap way to fix uneven temperatures without rewiring your whole house. Drop a comment with the room that never gets warm in winter, and I will troubleshoot the top picks in next week's video.